Hello there, my name's Kenny and I represent Truth Error Films. Now, here at Truth Error Films, we have a duty to reveal information that has been covered up in the media or used in the media to be horrible to people. And today, I'm going to expose two injustices, not just by the media, but by politicians as well. So to kick off, I'm going to have Ken Livingstone, and just to remind you people out there what happened with Ken Livingstone, 18 months or so ago now. Just watch this film.
Disgusting racist, Livingstone.
Disgusting racist. Rewriting history, you're a disgusting racist.
You say it's not true?
Yes, you're a lying racist.
Really? Why don't you go and
A
check your
Nazi
history?
apologist. A
Check
Nazi
your history.
apologist.
Check your history.
A Nazi apologist. You're a disgusting Nazi apologist, Livingstone. Rewriting history. Go back and check what Hitler did. Go back and check what Hitler did. There's a book called Mein Kampf. You've obviously never heard of it, written in 1925.
Yeah, well, there's a real problem here.
Yes, you've never read it. You know nothing about it. You know nothing about what Hitler did in 1932. Dachau concentration camp in his first 50 days. The race purity laws in his first 100 days. And you dare say that Hitler supported Zionism. You've lost it, mate. You need help. You need help. You need help. You need help. Factually wrong. No, factually wrong. Racist remarks.
Go and check your history.
Check my history.
That was the policy they ran on in 32.
His
view was to deport all the Jews of Germany to Israel.
You have lost it.
Is it true or not?
You have lost it. You read the Nazi policy.
Yes.
You read Mein Kampf.
Yes.
What did Mein Kampf say about Zionism?
I mean,
What did Mein Kampf say about Zionism?
Hitler's a mad Zionist, anti-Zionist. He wanted to kill all Jews. But his policy in 32, when he won that election, was to deport Germany's Jews to Israel. And the Zionist movement had secret meetings with this administration talking about that. In
1932, coming in, the first thing he did was set up Dachau. The second thing he did was bring the race purist laws targeting, as the state, Jewish businesses.
We all agree on that.
Jewish
Why are you
businesses.
denying what he also ran as the policy in 32?
That wasn't Hitler. You're losing it. You're losing it. You're losing it. You're twisting history.
You've seen the anger.
It is extraordinary.
It
is extraordinary.
But
It's rewriting history.
Do you maintain what you said earlier?
Well, go ahead and just check
You've
the
seen the
facts
anger.
historically. Yes, but, I mean, would people be angry if I said we were invaded by the Normans in 1066? You can't deny historical fact.
But those comments
Hitler was
have been
a
described
Zionist.
as inexcusable and you should no longer
It's
say
a
in the
statement of
party.
fact. Has your
It's a
organisation with
calculated
its
lie.
last budget
It's a
checked to see whether
calculated
it's
lie.
true?
It's a
Because
calculated
why don't you come
lie.
and do an interview
A
with this
calculated
interesting
lie
guy, see whether
by
he thinks it's
conspiracy
true?
In your
theorists.
party.
Conspiracy theorists, normally
Is
neo-Nazis,
it true?
and you're backing conspiracy theorists.
Now you've seen that film, you'll have heard John Mann MP, who's a Labour MP, slating off Mr Livingstone for talking about Hitler and Zionism and the fact that Hitler and the Zionists colluded on getting rich Jews out of Germany. As you can see, Mr Mann MP says that Ken Livingstone's anti-Semitic, and he's even rewriting history. Really, Mr Mann? Really? Do you really think that? Then I'll suggest you watch this film, sir. We lifted this off the internet. Watch this film.
Live on Channel 5. This is the 10 o'clock news with Deborah Norville.
Coming out revealing secret negotiation between the Nazis and the Zionists in 1933, which allowed German Jews and their assets to go to Palestine. Rich Samuels joins us tonight with the story of the controversy behind the book and the author's struggle to write it. Rich?
Deborah, with the rise of Adolf Hitler to power in the spring of 1933, the Jews of the world were faced with a dilemma. They could raise a cry of protest, a cry few would heed, or they could make a deal with Hitler, a deal that would bring a step closer their dream of an independent Jewish state. The choice they made was difficult and agonizing. This new book describes that choice. The book is called The Transfer Agreement. This is Israel a few days ago, the season of Passover.
Der nationalen Revolution sieht es grundsätzlich als ihre Pflicht an.
And this is Germany 51 years ago, the blossoming of Adolf Hitler's springtime. A key factor in the vitality of today's Israel, the book's author argues, was an agreement reached in 1933 between a group of Zionists and the man who would later try to kill every living Jew.
The great irony is that Adolf Hitler became the chief economic sponsor of the State of Israel.
It will be an argument against, and a wrong argument against Zionists.
Some who lived through those times fear the response to this book. The parents of the author feared its very writing.
When your son came to you and said he was going to write this book, what were your feelings about his undertaking?
I told him he's not my son anymore.
Why did you say that?
I told him I'm going to sit shitty.
As though he were dead?
That's right.
I told him I don't like it. Because as being a Jew, I didn't want something to uncover on my own people.
I was buried in a grave with 27 people. I was 7 times captured.
Edwin Black's parents are Holocaust survivors.
For what?
My parents never talked much about the Holocaust. Just
Edwin Black, to fill the void left by the silence of his parents, has written this book, a dense, detailed chronicle of the early months of 1933. January 30th, 1933. Hitler becomes Germany's interim chancellor. The Third Reich has begun. But in this country, on March 4th, attention is diverted by the inauguration of Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
More power to you, President Roosevelt. The entire country's behind you, thrilled with hope and patriotism.
But ominous headlines tell what's already happening to the Jews of Germany. The protest of American Jews was heard almost immediately. It was based on only the sparsest of press reports, and nowhere was that protest more vocal than here in New York City.
All creeds, local and national organizations, and labor parties are joining this gigantic demonstration passing through famous Washington Arch. Rabbi Stephen S. Wise, honorary president of the American Jewish Congress, leads the procession down Fifth Avenue on foot.
Father arranged for the first great mass meeting at Madison Square Garden to protest Hitlerism. He felt that when freedom was threatened, silence condoned oppression always.
Thousands who waited hours behind police lines rushed forward as the doors of Madison Square Garden are open. Jews and Gentiles join in the race for seats, and 22,000 of them get in.
I was a young kid then, you see, as a teenager. And I belonged to a Zionist youth group. And we were all summoned to go to that rally. Well, it was a very agitated crowd. Many Yiddish speaking, a few English speaking. Rabbi Wise mounted an appeal to the Jewish people to do something to save Jewish honor.
Most of the important, well-established Jews were very angry at him, said this was sensationalism, and that if anything happened to the Jews in Germany, the blood of the Jews would be on his head.
Dr. Stephen S. Wise, rabbi of the Free Synagogue and a national leader of liberal thought, speaks in behalf of the Jews of the United States.
This is not a Jewish meeting. This is the conscience of America making itself felt.
The conscience of Nazi Germany made itself felt 5 days later. Across the Reich, Hitler's troops shut down Jewish-owned businesses for 24 hours. Within days, American Jews marched calling for the boycott of all German exports. Jews throughout Europe echoed that call, so did Jews everywhere. But a group of Zionists at the same time was quietly negotiating an agreement with the Nazis to allow the immigration of German Jews and the transfer of their assets to Palestine. That deal, reported in August 1933, was the transfer agreement. Palestine, sparsely settled by Jews at the time, was radically changed as a result.
I lived in Palestine from 1933 to 1936, and we saw every week transports of German Jews coming to settle in Palestine. And many new professions were introduced by then into the country, and they played a leading role in making Palestine then a more advanced and progressive country.
Israel is really what it is because of the foundation laid by the Eastern European group, and then the lift toward an educated and well-organized government that came with the immigration of the German Jewish group.
German Jewish settlement of Palestine was, for a time, official Nazi policy. These photos of Jewish life in Palestine, along with a lengthy text, appeared in 1934 in the Berlin paper Der Angriff. The publisher, Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels. A Nazi Visits Palestine was the title of the multi-part series. A medal was struck by Goebbels in commemoration. On one side, the swastika. On the other, the Star of David. Hitler demanded one concession for the transfer agreement, that the call for a boycott of the Reich raised by Jews here and elsewhere be rejected by the Zionists. The Zionists made that concession. And so, while Nazis were marching in Germany, and while Jews were marching here, diplomacy was running a more important story. In the Mediterranean, where the dream of a nation-state for Jewish people came a step closer to reality. The story in this book some will find hard to accept.
I still feel the hurt. But after I read it, I said, I'm all with you. Go ahead and write it.
Because everything was exactly what happened, and that's the truth, and you cannot deny it. And the truth must prevail.
And I'm not worried by the people who will find the book in bad taste. The smart people, the intelligent people, the people who went through will understand.
The author is torn between two profound feelings. That he has to be for a Jewish state, and that the silence which his parents have kept, well, he has to retaliate against that silence, and he takes it out on others.
It was a quest. It took me around the world. Financially, it depleted me. Emotionally, it drained me. And as far as my being a Jewish person and understanding my Jewish identity and my relationship to Israel and the Holocaust, it has fulfilled me. It has given me identity.
That he tries to exorcise his own demons by creating ghosts to visit the nights of others is really a very personal drama. And my only hope is that he will not damage the people, the state, and the brethren and sisters whom he proclaims to cherish.
Did you find what you wanted to know?
Yes, I know what happened, and I know why.
The transfer agreement will be available shortly. Macmillan is the publisher. Deborah?
Thanks, Rich. Really interesting.
Now you've seen that film, I think you'll agree with me that Ken Livingstone was actually telling the truth, that the transfer agreement was real, that Adolf Hitler did indeed help invent Israel, and all this nonsense about anti-Semitism in the Labour Party seems to be a bit misplaced in my opinion. But what is Zionism? Does anyone actually know what Zionism is? Well, rather than me tell you and try and explain it to you, I've found this piece on the internet of former American Vice President Joe Biden. He explains fully what Zionism is in this little clip.
Inextricable tie between culture, religion, ethnicity that most people don't fully understand. That is unique and, how can I say it? So strong with Jews worldwide. There is a, I mean, you know, I used to say early on when I was a kid, I'd say, when I was a young senator, I'd say, if I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
So you know what Zionism is? You know the difference that Zionism is not necessarily Judaism, right? Joe Biden has just told you that. So we need to ask ourselves three questions here. First, what was the deal with Ken Livingstone saying that in the first place? He said, do your research, and we did. We went on YouTube and we found all this information. In fact, all I did was put in the words Hitler and Zionism, pressed enter, bang, up came all these films. And the film you've just seen is exactly one of those films. And it's true. Ken Livingstone was telling the truth. Yet the mainstream media demonised the man. They vilified the man. You're an anti-Semite. Well, I think that lot owe Ken Livingstone a massive, and I mean massive, apology. However, having said that, here in Brighton Hove City, or City of Brighton Hove, as it's now commonly known, officially known, we have a council leader called Councillor Warren Morgan. And he's a Labour councillor and he leads a Labour council. So this is what his attitude towards anti-Semitism is.
Well, like a lot of people, I saw the reports in the media yesterday morning, and I've heard accounts on social media, and obviously Tom Watson, the deputy leader, pledged an investigation into it. So really I was saying that if the party is investigating, then I wanted to make it clear that Jewish people, the Jewish community in the city, can't have any event, whether it's the Labour Party or anyone else, coming here making them feel unsafe. So I was seeking reassurances from the Labour Party that when they do come back, as I hope they will, that they will take steps to address this kind of debate becoming threatening to people both within the conference and outside. Well, I've spoken out against far-right demonstrations coming to the city before, and I've spoken out when members of our Muslim community have felt threatened following the backlash against terrorist attacks around the world. So, yes, obviously it's my job, as I say, as council leader, to make sure that the city is a safe place. We are a city of sanctuary. We do have equalities policies. Obviously there's a limit to what you can do, and everyone has a right to free speech. But people's right to free speech is bounded by our rules on hate crime and by the offence that they may cause to other people. Now, when that offence becomes a hate issue, when people feel threatened and abused in their own city, then obviously it's incumbent on me or whoever is leader of the council to take that up and to make sure that all steps necessary are taken.
Now, as you can see, in that film, Councillor Morgan, he talks about Brighton looking after minority groups, and they do. We're brilliant down here for it. It's a great place to live if you're a minority. But what he doesn't tell you is what the disabled are going through in this town. Just exactly what they're going through at the hands of Councillor Morgan, Councillor Meadows, people like that, all in that council. And if you don't believe me, check this out. This is Bobby Carver. This film we have edited from our own film. This is Bobby Carver. We filmed this 11 months ago. The link is in the description. In fact, all the links to all the films on here are in the description, therefore we're not plagiarising anything. You can find out for yourselves, in other words. We're not hiding anything. But Bobby Carver, let me tell you something, he's been in a flat for 6 years. Yeah, as you'll see in this bit of film, for 6 years. Think about that. As paedophiles get less than that. Okay, so today we're in City of Brighton Hove, the Hove aspects of it, which is one of the wealthiest towns in the world, if not the United Kingdom. Behind me is a house that's been converted into 3 flats. So you've got the ground floor there, the first floor, and up there you've got a converted attic. And that is where Robbie lives. Now, as you're about to find out, Robbie is severely disabled. He can't even get himself to the bathroom or get across the room on his own without his helper. So we're now going to go in there and show you exactly the conditions he has to live in, and we want to find out why Brighton Hove City Council have done absolutely nothing to rectify this situation. It's been in 7 years, and yet nothing's been done. So, I mean, it's hard enough for us to walk up there, so please keep watching, and we will expose this for what it is. It's absolutely shambolic. There's no need for it in this day and age. They throw money around at private enterprise all the time, and yet they can't even sort out one of their own citizens, so keep watching, people. So now we're going to enter the property, and Ross is going to film me walking up these stairs. Now, this is what Bobby has to go through every day. When you see Bobby, you'll understand just why it's so difficult for him to live in this location. So we're up on the first floor now. That's come up 2 dog legs round here. There's another dog leg here off the landing. Now, certainly my legs walking up there. It really is. It's not easy walking up there. as you can see, the headroom isn't brilliant. There's a Velux window there, which is standard. And this is where Robbie lives, so come inside. Okay, so this is Robbie. And, well, Robbie, tell us about your situation here.
Sorry, I'm having one of them days today. I'm a prisoner in my own home. I'm a paraplegic with a condition called functional neurological disorder. And it's a degenerative condition as well as other conditions as well on top. And the council moved me in here about 5 years ago at the duress of my medical team, saying they shouldn't move me in here. It's on the second floor. I can't have a wheelchair in here, so I have to be pulled around. It's disgusting, really.
So, now we're in finishing, we've seen all the evidence. What you think about Ken Livingstone and whether he's telling the truth or not is up to you. I'm not telling you what to think. Bobby Carpenter is getting out of that flat. In fact, if you're watching Jeremy Corbyn, I suggest you come down to Brighton and explain to Mr Carver fully why the MP for Ovenport State, Peter Kyle, who is the Labour MP, has refused to have anything to do with Mr Carver. I think you owe that man an apology, Mr Corbyn, don't you? Anyway, what you think is up to you. And whatever you think about the Labour Party, all the anti-Semitism and all that nonsense, right? I don't believe any of it. It's anti-Zionism, yes, anti-Semitic, no. But if you want to see real Nazism, watch this clip of Ian Duncan Smith.
Look, work actually helps free people. Look, work actually helps free people. Look, work actually helps free people. Look, work actually helps free people.
So I'd just like to say thank you for watching, and think for yourselves and do your research. After all, if you watch the film right at the start, that's exactly what Ken Livingstone said to do. Do your research. I did. Look what we found out. It really is that simple. People, we're only two people. You are millions. It's down to you to change it. Apathy is no longer an option.